Deion Sanders has banned a reporter from asking him questions. And I got to be honest, I think that it is incredibly soft. Seriously. Like you can't you're a football coach. As soon as you sign up for the job, like you are signing up to be scrutinized. Like seriously, like it's part of the job. Maybe that's not fair, maybe that's wrong, but every college football coach in the country, every NFL coach in the country, every college basketball coach in the country, every single one of them, when they sign the dotted line to be paid a whole bunch of money, they are agreeing to coaching the team, but also dealing with the media. It is part of being a coach, okay? And banning someone from asking you questions because you don't like what, what they're saying to you or what they're saying about you is incredibly soft. Okay? The Indiana Fever did the same thing with Doyle, but the difference was Doyle was being weird and creepy. This reporter wasn't being weird and creepy towards Colorado. He isn't. And of course, Deion Sanders was asked, "Hey man, like why did you ban this guy? What did he do?" And Deion responded. The reporter's name, by the way, is Sean Keeler. Okay. And the reason why Deion banned Sean Keeler from asking him questions and the rest of the team questions is because of what Deion called, quote, personal attacks. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, what are those personal attacks? Is he like threatening you? Is he threatening your family? Like what is happening? What are we deeming as these, quote, personal attacks? And whoever interviewed Deion Sanders on this, I love them so much because they asked the question. They asked, "Hey, can we get some specific examples of how Sean Keeler personally attacked you and the program?" And here were the, quote, personal attacks on Deion Sanders. Apparently, Sean Keeler said that Deion Sanders was a false prophet. He called him Deposition Deion. He called him Planet Prime. He called him the Bruce Lee of BS, the Deion Kool-Aid, and he called the program a circus. I'm sorry, but that is not egregious enough to warrant banning someone from asking you questions. Okay? Like it'd be one thing if he said something like legitimately personal to Deion Sanders, but he didn't. This is just simple sports writing. This is, hey, I don't agree with how you're running the program. I don't agree. And because I write a column, I am going to voice my opinion. Okay, like this is the world that we live in now. Nick Saban had to deal with this at Alabama. Okay, he went 6-6 in his first season with the Crimson Tide. And I bet that there were columnists and reporters and national media people and local media people ripping Nick Saban for it. Okay, but Nick Saban didn't ban anybody from asking him questions. Kirby Smart, even though he's been wildly successful at Georgia, he hasn't banned anyone from asking him questions, even though I'm sure there are people out there that don't like some of the things that he does. Okay, Mike Norvell at Florida State just got upset by Georgia Tech. And I'm sure that there are all sorts of negative pieces out there about Mike Norvell and Florida State and what he did with the transfer portal. I'm sure that there's a ton of negative stuff out there about it. But you know what Florida State hasn't done? You know what Mike Norvell hasn't done? You know what he's not going to do? Tell these people that said mean things about him that they can no longer ask him questions. Okay, it is simply part of the job. When you sign up to be a head coach, when you sign up to be, like, if you're Deion Sanders, okay, because like we can say whatever we want, but Deion Sanders has brought some of this on himself. Okay, because he has talked a big game. Okay, they go out, they beat TCU. You know, people act like Colorado won the Super Bowl. TCU ended up not being very good last year. Neither did Colorado. They went 4-8, and they go out and they beat the national champion runner-ups. And Deion Sanders puffing his chest out like, yeah, I can coach. My son Shadur is awesome, and he is. He's a pretty good quarterback. And he starts running his mouth. And then they go 4-8. They get beat by 100 by Oregon. And all of a sudden now, like, it's not okay for people to say mean things about you. Seriously, like, how about this? Okay, I talked about this last week when I talked about the little scuffle between the Indiana Fever and the Seattle Storm. If you don't want people to say mean and negative things about you, then go win. Right, Deion? Like Deion was supposed to be the savior of this Colorado program. Go be the savior. And, Sean Keeler then can't say anything bad about you. Go win games. Go 7-5. Make a bowl game. Because when was the last time Colorado made a bowl game? I couldn't even tell you. Go do something that hasn't been done at Colorado in a long time. And then you won't have to worry about people speaking negatively about you anymore. Okay? Sean Keeler didn't personally attack Deion Sanders. He didn't. He called him a false prophet because Deion Sanders talks a lot. Okay? He called him Planet Prime because let's be honest. Like, deem yourself prime time. You're probably a bit about yourself. Okay, the Deion Kool-Aid, because once again, Deion likes to talk. Like this, I don't see any sort of personal attack. Calling the program a circus based off of the report that Athlon Sports let out. I mean, I understand that. That kind of makes some sense to me. Come on now, Deion. What you did is soft. Okay, you signed up for this when you signed the dotted line to be the head coach at Colorado. Okay, and every coach signs up for it when they agree to go coach anywhere. You have to deal with media. You have to deal with people not liking what you're doing. And it's not fun. It's hard. Okay? But just because you don't like what someone said about you doesn't mean that you should be able to just eliminate them from the equation and not allow them to ask you questions. Okay? It's soft. Plain and simple. It's incredibly soft. And, I thought we get a little more toughness out of Deion Sanders. But then again, when you refuse to tackle anybody for, your entire NFL career, then, it makes a little bit of sense that he would be a little soft.